told there's some real money in the room.
What's the difference between cut and uncut when you say that?
Meaning I ain't under nobody's constitution. I don't gotta blow your head off because this told me to, because he my general. Even though I could beat his ass, I could whoop this nigga, but he my general. And I gotta go do it. I gotta stab you. Now I gotta go in the cell, sleep with you tonight, feed you, give you a meal, and then cut your motherfucking throat because the general sent me to do so because he know I'm the closest to you.
Right.
And it's easier for me to get to you. Because you're gonna be lurky about everybody else, but I can make you at comfort and ease because you know me, so you're gonna let your guards down. See, and I was smart enough to know, nigga, I would never be caught up in that triggeration because I have my own leadership, I have my own power within myself as it is already that I was building. So before I did that and broke myself down to fall under somebody else's structure, to now he can utilize my power because he know I'm a warrior, he know I'm a hitter, he know I'm a goal. So he gonna use me, like a lot of other homies that been used. So when I told that story, I told the truth. I was summoned in the first place to shed light on that story because one of my G homies was summoned to do the interview, and he couldn't do the interview based on his circumstances of being locked up. So they called me, and they said, man, the only person besides him that can shed light on that, because he was the opposite of what that was. So that's why he definitely could have shed light on it, because he's a general in a whole nother world, the opposite of that. You feel me? So they called me. So when they called me, being the fact they called me because they say, no, he's a G homie, and then he uncut. So it's definitely, he can speak on it from a political standpoint because of that. So when I spoke on it, I didn't go into depths about it as far as the organization itself, because it wasn't TV land business. So that's why I told a lot of niggas, see, you niggas that took this shit and put it on this punk ass internet when UBN ain't no motherfucking gang in the first place. That's why I had to bust they bubble, nigga. UBN ain't no goddamn gang. It shouldn't have been no gang. Shouldn't have been titled in New York as no gang, in no streets in New York as no gang, because there wasn't no fucking gang in the first place.
Then what is
it? Was a structured prison organization. Like everything else in prison, from JAMAs to fucking Blue Notes to C Notes to goddamn everything else that was structured under paperwork had a structure, bro. You know what I'm saying? So they was not considered as gangs. When you was in a gang and you wanted to get out of gang or denounce your gang, you went to prison, then you either went two routes. Feel me? If you was a blood, you either went two routes. You either went the B route or you either went the U route. If you was a Crip, you either went CCO or you was a Blue Note or a Vanguard. These are structured prison organizations, not gangs. Structured based on the Black Panther myth. Feel me? The P. Huey Mugen and the Soledad Brothers myth. It was structured based on these things of unity, bringing black brothers together, Bloods and Crips. So that's why gangbanging was demolished when you became a part of one of these organizations. You're no longer a gang member now. You can't go over there and get involved with your Crip homies or your Blood homies politics because you're part of us now. Because you cut. You see what I'm saying? So if Spliff hit the yard, there's nothing else I could say to empower or say, well, y'all, hey man, y'all get up off of him, homie, that's the homie. Or no, man, he don't deserve no DP. I can't say nothing because I'm cut, I'm over here. I can't touch that. Only my homies over there that's uncut who got the power, they gonna have to politic that in DP or do whatever's necessary. I ain't nothing I can say.
Well, you can, even though you uncut as a double OG, you can have little homies who are cut.
But still, I don't got no business touching it. I ain't got no involvement with it. Right. I'm telling you, the way this shit is set up, bro, you can't go over there and say nothing because your crew gonna know. Right. You gotta sell it, you gotta cut Sally. You ain't in the celly with an uncut nigga. You in the celly with a nigga that's a soldier like you. You feel me? So it's a difference. So again, homie, the origin of this was not established in NY, in Rikers Island, on the East Coast, none of that shit, ever, bro. Mac, OG Mac, who took a book and took sentiments out of Cody's book and took different shit because of the circumstances that New York was under during the time, man, and Rikers and on the streets and dealing with the Laricans, you feel me? They tried to establish something for themselves. So you can't really be mad at the dude overall for designing a protection method, basically. That's what he did. But what he did was he took wrong information, wrong misconstrued information, and he put it out there and embedded it into these youngsters to where like diarrhea. And right now, you can't convince them niggas that's the truth. Like you would literally argue with a New York nigga like, no son, no son, no son, on me son. OG Mac started that son, I was there son, on the island. Son, shut your dumb ass up son, cause the nigga done told you the wrong information son. That's the fuck that happened to you son.
Man, I was talking to one of the big homies from Truman, and he told me something that really just blew me. You know, so in Texas, other states, and I'm sure even the UBN affiliates of New York, they bang the 5. But he was like, man, the 5 is a myth. Now, I know people who will kill you over the 5. They will do you something. They do you something bad over the 5, and they believe in it, and you can't tell them.
That's their sincerity, because that's what they really rep, bro.
Right.
Feel me? And then not only that, more than likely, that means they really represent the origins of that shit. So that's why it's so sincere to them.
Well, the thing about it is in California, which is the origins of gangbanging as far as Bloods and Crips go, the 5 doesn't exist.
Nah. Don't exist. We don't harvest over the pointers. We don't, do the 5 or the 3 pointers or the 4s. That wasn't something that was planted as far as embedded in us when we established this in the 60s, the late 60s, and coming in the early 70s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Crips was something that was established as a spinoff of the Black Panthers. So that's why it was Crips Revolutionary in Progress. So this was something that these brothers had got together to mend the communities and protect the communities from the outsider of the whites, because it was so many predominant white areas and white neighborhoods in Los Angeles at the time. So we didn't have time to really be black on black killing and blood and red and at that point in time when it first established because of that. So when they established this was established on the mentality of pro-blackness. This had nothing to do with, another black man gonna kill another black man. We're gonna end up with different colors and flags, and we're gonna end up being Bloods and Crips. Man, them Raymond Washington, nor Tookie, nor Big Puddin', none of these homies, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the founders back then in that first generation, even my big homies, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the Ray Boyces, you know what I mean? The Terry Moses, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, Ray Boyce, to the big homie. None of these cats had any inclination that this Crip or this Blood shit would be this broad or take 60 years down the line into the world and where it would spread like wildfire throughout the world. They had no idea of that, bro. These brothers' idea was to become like the Black Panthers, so to speak, bro, where we protect our communities, we protect our women, we protect our family, we protect our kids from these racist ass goddamn white men that's out here beating black men and shit, man, the police. Because the shit was real. Real racism was real at its all-time high. So it was a difference. So it was never really cast attention for it to be that way. But because Fat Boy stepped in office and he had a plan, which is J. Edgar Hoover, that's when the masses went to work.
Boom, before you get there, what was the Green Jacket started as?
The Green Jacket started in our hood. Like, okay, well, before we became bounty hunters, we were Green Jackets.
Right. And
the Green Jackets was a clique. Right. You know, again, not a gang, it was a clique, a structured clique in our hood, just like you had the Pygmies from the Jordan Downs. It was a whole family of them. Feel me, a clique of them. But we all ran together. The Green Jackets, the Pygmies, all of them, the PJs, the Slauson Boys, who was from the west side. You know what I mean? We talking about Six Deuce Brim Hood before it was Brims. It was the Slauson Boys over there, you know what I mean? So it's like all these cliques was black cliques. A lot of them was dancers. and cats, they was just like cliques. So they wasn't considered as gangs. So they maneuvered from neighborhood to neighborhood. Like before we were segregated, we all went to each other's neighborhood. Like we partied in the Jordan Downs partied in the Nixon partied in the PJ. We all just watched, period. We all partied amongst each other until the segregation kicked in the early 70s, 73, 74, when choices had to be made. Like, okay, which side y'all rocking with, and which route y'all taking? Because it's a wave right now going on with the Tookie and the Raymond Washington recruits of the Crips from the east side and the west side, and they smashing up and down the streets of Los Angeles and recruiting neighborhoods. So which side are y'all taking? And that's when the segregations came about, as far as Watts, you know, and we became who we were, the bounty hunters, based on our big homies, you know what I mean, planting those seeds. And then we merged in the late 70s. When I say we, us as the second generation, we come about 77, 78, 76, 79, we come about. And then when we come about, we took it to a whole nother level, because my generation, we became volatile. This is why the bloody 80s became the bloody 80s, because of us. Right. We took it to a whole nother level. That's when the murders took place, the niggas getting chopped up, kidnapped, all the above, because now J. Edgar Hoover's plan worked. They threw everything we needed, they threw it out here to us at our disposal, and we took it like dummies, retrieved that shit, ran with it, and we did all the devil's work. They derailed a fucking train, two trains in Watts. Our hood, Jordan Downside. Guess what was on them?
Weapons.
Furniture and weapons. Furniture and all the little miscellaneous shit was the front. The weapons was what they wanted us to find, and we found them, crates of them. You was too young, you weren't around. Unc, remember the 45 Tech 9s? But we had thousands of them, some bitches in the streets of Los Angeles in the 80s. That's when the murders occurred. That's when the first automatic weapons hits, the Tech 9s. Every nigga named Mama was trying to get over to a Tech 9 who was a gang member, because they had the 45s. Not me. I've always been a revolver man. And the reason why I didn't like them motherfuckers, because I told my homies back then, they gonna get hot, bro. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get hot. When you knock on one of them, they get hot. The son bitch will blow up on you. It'd have been backfired on you. And that shit was happening. Trigger mechanisms was happening, and the shit was backfiring on niggas. So they distinct them, got rid of the Tech 9s, came back with the Ks and the AR-15s and threw them in the streets. So we didn't build these weapons. We as black men, we as Asiatic, we didn't build none of this shit. This shit was given to us at our disposal. We just was the dumb assholes who took it and did the job for them, like we still doing right now today, bro. On that note, bro, listen, man. To all my youngins out there, man, you niggas is in the streets, you claiming a gang, or you talking about this dude over here, he my hitter, he my shooter. You're all wrong. You got it all backwards. Yeah, he your gang, all right, he your shooter. You can bet your ass and bet your life that your shooters, the niggas gonna knock your head off. Your shooters, the nigga gonna take whatever you develop and gain in life, and you got it better than him, that he the one coming to get it. Why is that, Cap? You the nigga that trust. You trust him. He the closest to you. It's said and done, man. Shit has to be a change, bro. And like I said, it has to be a major sit down, city to city, man. I really, really feel for H-Town right now, man, because Houston is a beautiful city, bro. Straight up. Houston ain't nowhere near a ruthless, rugged, fucked up city. I love H-Town, bro. Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin is my home. You feel me? I'm building, you know what I'm saying? That's where my retired ranchie is here, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, I love Texas. And I hate me as a former gang leader, man, former warrior from that aspect, man, of life, bro. I hated that the seeds we planted, bro, back then, 60 some odd years ago, all you dudes had to feel it. All you niggas out here in these different neighborhoods, these beautiful different communities where you never seen a crime or felt the element of a gang bang or a gang member, feeling this shit now, bro. I feel sorry for these neighborhoods, bro. They don't deserve it. On that note, man, ROE, man, you've been tapped in and tuned in, man. ROE, man. Real Tune TV, man. Real Tune TV, baby. Watts.
Hey, real tone, there's some real money in the room.